Yes, I am the weatherman. I'm meteorologist John Bolaris. This is 6:10 a.m. WTEL, Center Stage with John Bolaris. It's an open forum entertainment show. It's debuting Saturday, right now, this evening, 6 to 7 o'clock, every Saturday, 6 to 7 o'clock on 6:10 a.m. WTEL. This show will be an open forum entertainment show with guests that range from well-known sports figures, local and national celebrities, musicians, comics, celebrity chefs, Philadelphia legends, TV, radio anchors, past, present, and fired. We'll talk to local people, town heroes, and politicians. Basically, anyone that has a story to tell. The show will take on a life of its own depending on who is the guest. And I have a very, very special guest with me for debut the show, which I'm truly excited about. Really, Mayor Nutter is here with me, and I couldn't be happier on a debut show. So I want to thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, for coming in.
Absolutely, and congratulations to you, John.
Well, thank you very much. And I didn't know this. You're really my brother from another mother. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. I'm going to call my mom later today.
You were born June 29th, 1957. I'm June 27th.
Really?
1957.
Wow.
So we're pretty close.
All right,
so
take that.
We got to celebrate a birthday together.
No question.
I hear you got a little poll in the city. You might be able to get a pretty good restaurant.
You might be able to get a seat.
All right, here's the deal. I think it's very topical right now. You know, the weather's been, well, let's say it's been a tough forecasting season for the meteorologist.
Yeah.
It's been unbelievably cold, but the forecasts have not been that accurate. The first one was an ice event that took place several weeks ago on an early Sunday morning. It was not in the forecast. It led to fatalities. It led to mayhem on the roadways, and it was not in the forecast. Now, the tone of the forecast that week on all meteorologists, or most, was a warm-up for that Sunday, which did not take place, and we had some freezing rain that came in early. And that created massive problems, massive headaches on the roadways, and some families not together anymore. Yeah. Now, we had then a second situation. We had a forecast of a storm that was ranging anywhere for the city. We're going to zero in on the city. Anywhere from 6 inches to as much as 24 inches.
Right.
Now, you're the mayor of the city. You're hearing these forecasts. And it was very new, too, because there was nothing really being talked about during the week.
Right.
So now it's the weekend. Everyone's kind of sleeping, relaxed. Nothing was really out there. Now you start hearing about the snow. Maybe you start hearing by Saturday night. You're starting to get a hint of it. Now it's Sunday. We're already in the crunch time where we have to do something.
No question.
So the forecasts come out. They're all over the place, but basically everyone is pretty much on the same pace that we're going to get hit.
Yeah.
What do you do as the mayor? Tell me in the commands, what's going on?
Well, as you pointed out, even from the kind of unanticipated ice storm earlier in the year, so we take these weather events very, very seriously. Anywhere from significant snowfall, ice storms, hurricanes. We've had a couple of those, or superstorms. We've had an earthquake during my time. I mean, all of these weather events, as we refer to them, we take very, very seriously. And unless the general forecast is kind of light rain or general sunshine, we're paying attention to what's going on. It is every event is different. It's a function of literally what day of the week it might take place on. Is it a daytime event, an evening event, an overnight event? Because they all have different characteristics that you really have to take into consideration. Our folks, from our Deputy Mayor for Public Safety and my Chief of Staff, Everett Gillison, down to Samantha Phillips, who runs the Emergency Operations Center, our communication shop, Desiree Peter Campbell and Mark McDonald. I mean, everyone is involved in this process, and a ton of other folks. I mean, it's not just those folks. Police, fire, managing director's office, special events, all kinds of stuff, because you have to think about, is it a Wednesday event? Is it a Saturday event? Are kids in school or are they not in school? I mean, but at the heart and soul of it is always about public safety. Are we asking people to come in for an event that's going to take place later on and then they can go home? Or is it something that's going to take place from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m.? And so literally you would have folks, adults and kids, going into a storm, which often, of course, makes no sense. So sometimes, we've had delayed openings. Sometimes we've closed the city, or sometimes the schools have closed. A lot of people think that I actually close the schools.
Right.
I don't. That's not my authority. The decision is actually made over on the school side with a lot of input from us. We give them all the facts, but ultimately the superintendent makes that decision. And you also have to try to anticipate. And as you said, even when the forecasts are accurate, there's often a little bit of variation. So we started tracking the most recent storm, for a few days before, and then there was a consistency to some extent with a pretty decent range. I mean, we're getting 4 to 12, 6 to 14, 8 to 18. I mean, at the end of the day, when someone says, it could be anywhere from 4 to 18 inches.
Right.
Okay, you'll probably be right, but the preparation is very different.
I heard you
for a 4-inch storm than an 18-inch storm.
I saw one that had 2 inches to 18.
Right.
All right, so now you're perplexed.
Right.
Now, with that being said, it did not take place. Now, the city did not take heat. Weather forecasters certainly did. So you had that going, but still you're going to take heat because you're closing the cities. It's disruptive for moms and dads, and it's disruptive. It changes lives upside down.
Business, the whole thing. And I would always rather be over prepared than under prepared, and I'd rather take the risk of us being wrong with no harm than wrong, not anticipating what might possibly happen, and very bad things happen, and possibly people die. So, that's the call. It's one day. Everybody saw what happened. Everybody's looking at the same newscasts, hearing the same reports, and many, many people were very supportive of the decision made based on the facts at that time. Most rational people understood that if everyone's saying you're going to get, it was 10 to 14, and the last press conference, I believe on that Monday night, we said National Weather Service had downgraded us to 6 to 10. Well, that's not exactly,
no, that's not,
walking around in your bedroom slippers kind of stuff, right? So, decisions still stood. People wake up the next morning and they're like, what happened?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. It didn't come, but what do you want me to do? I'm not going to have a press conference at 4 o'clock in the morning saying, hey, looks like everything's okay. You should go to work. Who's going to see that, right?
Start checking out weathersavior.com, Mayor. We had 2 to 4 inches by 7 o'clock that evening. We started taking it down, but I know, but
I started hearing about
that. I was still very nervous. I don't go to bed. That's Sunday, so Yeah. I never went to bed until it was over.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah. I have this sickening feeling when things are not working out. And even in politics, your life can be ruined as a politician mishandling snowstorms. I remember, I go way back. I grew up in New York. 1969, Mayor Lindsay snowstorm. He got hammered for that, not preparing the city right and not taking the city out. So there's a lot goes into that.
Fortunately, we have a great team. We've had the number 1 and number 2 heaviest snowfalls in the history of the city of Philadelphia during our time.
Yeah.
And and many of our folks have been in the government way before I became a mayor. It's a battle-tested team. They know what to do. We trust each other. We rely on each other. And that's all in the preparation work. The real work, when we get 8 inches, 12 inches, 15 inches of snow, then the real work is the folks who are out on those plows or out in that equipment. They're working 12, sometimes 14-hour shifts when we have the really, really big ones. Mm-hmm. They take that work personally.
I know.
They take it as a badge of honor and their duty to the citizens of this city to get out there and literally fight those storms. So sometimes people say, Mayor, what do you mean they're fighting the storms? It is as if it's an epic battle. And they take it as a point of pride that ultimately that we're going to win. And we're going to get that snow out of there and get the city back up and running. And so the real credit goes to our public servants, Streets Department, Parks and Recreation, Water Department, a bunch of agencies. Everyone's putting a hand in. Everyone's got equipment in the mix. And we were ready. 375 pieces of equipment.
No, you were ready.
800 personnel.
We weren't ready.
And folks are looking around like, well, where is it?
We're shoveling, scraping cement here with sparks. I want to know something. You grew up in West Philly.
Yeah.
Did you have the dream of being in politics? What was your dream as a kid growing up in West Philly?
So, as a younger kid, like most kids, I played football in the streets, half ball, stick ball, step ball, basketball, baseball, all the different sports. Larchwood Avenue is particularly, as West Philly streets go, is slightly wider than some of the other streets. So we had great football games in the street. You had to watch the cars and all that kind of stuff. But literally, it would be, run down, 10 yards, make a left at the green Chevy over there, and I'll hit you. So, like a lot of young kids, I had these dreams of, be a football player. As I got older, that was kind of looking less and less viable. Played football in high school. 3 of my 4 years
at
St. Joseph Prep.
St. Joseph, right.
Yeah, did not play my junior year. I was in a medical training program because what I subsequently decided in my high school years that I wanted to be a doctor and I wanted to help people. And so graduated from the prep, went to Penn in the engineering school. I was a biomedical engineering major and with a minor in economics. I wanted to be a physician. I wanted to be a doctor, but not necessarily a physician. My whole game plan was I'd learn the business of medicine, the science of medicine, but then I wanted to start a business making equipment and devices and the tools that doctors would use in the operating room and other machinery, and so that's where the economics part came. But I felt I had to understand what medicine and science was all about, but I wanted to be on the business side. Freshman year, chemistry 3, table of elements, it was becoming really clear that this wasn't going to work out.
And you mixed it in with being a DJ. You were Master Mike Mix or something. What'd you DJ? Club Impulse or something?
Club Impulse at Broad and Germantown, Mix Master Mike. Absolutely. During my college years.
Wow, well-rounded. Doctor, ball player, football player, baseball player.
There you go.
Then you're a DJ. Did you think about a music career at all? Did you say, well, this is...
No, that was just my job. But I love music, and I've always loved music. Grew up with a lot of music in our house out in West Philly. My father, in particular, Fridays with Frank, and he loved to play the guitar, and Wes Montgomery, and all those guys. So it was always music in the house. So, the DJing was, the funny part of that is, that was not my original job. My original job at the club was really cleaning up. Would leave school at college in the afternoon, go to the club, clean it up, get it ready for the night. We had house DJs, but they didn't come in until later because they were the stars. And myself and my buddy, whose father owned the club, we would start the night off and playing music and trying to perfect our skills on the turntables.
Play a little music here. We're going to play you a song. I think
back when they had turntables.
When I think about this, I know you and President Clinton love this song. I do. I think you do.
Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow, 1992. Yeah, huge theme song. I was a Clinton delegate in '92. I'd been paying attention very closely to then Governor Clinton from Arkansas through the Democratic Leadership Council, this group that the then governor and a bunch of folks started to try to look at politics, what they used to call from another way or the third way, and started paying a lot of attention to him, and folks kind of laughed at me when I signed up to be a Clinton delegate. So nobody knows this guy. Excuse me. He's the governor of the poorest state in the United States of America. He has not a snowball's chance in hell of winning. And I said, okay.
Don't
that's
say
fine.
Snowball. Don't say snowball.
Yeah, well, that's true. Sensitive topic. Yeah. He has no chance, and I said, that's fine, but I like him. I like what he's talking about. I like what he's doing, and that has really led to a 20-plus year friendship with President Clinton, Secretary Hillary Clinton.
As a kid, did you ever think you'd be sitting there breaking bread with
No.
President Obama, talking politics, talking sports, whatever you're talking? What are you talking about? Do you remember any kind of interesting conversation sitting there with the president saying, "Wow"?
Well,
anything that stands out?
Truth be told, So, President Obama was in town last week, and for the House Democratic Caucus, which was in Philadelphia. So, generally the protocol is when the president comes to town, the mayor goes out to the airport, Air Force One comes in, which, I've never been on Air Force One, but I've been pretty up close to it. It is a huge plane.
He's got to hook you up on
enormous.
That.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
All right.
I've been on Air Force Two, but not Air Force One, with Vice President Biden, his plane. And so, the president comes down, the Air Force personnel are there, they salute, you greet the president, And so we're just kind of chatting, a very short chat. It was really cold that night. And he just says, well, come on, jump in the car.
No.
So, I mean, you just kind of look at him and say, I mean, this is not like like getting my ride. I mean, it's like, jump in the car.
Jump in.
I mean, so, I mean, that car is a beast. I mean, it really is huge.
You didn't hit Taco Bell or anything, did you? No.
So, no.
No, okay.
So, and then we're just really kind of sitting and chatting. He's very personable. Obviously when he's on stage and, being the president all the time, that's that person. But in a more relaxed environment, he's talking about sports. He wants to know what's going on in the city. He's really relaxed. And, I've been looking for the aux jack. In the presidential limousine,
right?
I just really want to plug in my MP3
right.
and just put some tunes on, but I haven't found it yet.
Oh.
So
let me ask you something. Now, 2016, that's it for you for being mayor.
Yeah.
Aspirations. I mean, you look, listen. You've been the mayor of a great city now for almost 8 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're going to sharpen up your chess game. I heard about that.
Yes, I'm working on it.
Right, you're working on your chess game. And by the way, Howard Stern, who I know personally, is very good at chess.
Is
Chess
that right?
master.
Yeah.
I could hook you two guys up.
I
if
will
you
not
like.
be playing Howard Stern.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts? Do you have any good 2016?
Very limited at the moment. I mean, I have to be honest. I'm so focused on. I took an oath of office. It's like anything else. You have to play to the last minute, the last second, and I take this work on behalf of our citizens very, very seriously. So, I've not devoted anywhere near probably the amount of time that I should to thinking about my future. But I've really kind of lived my life in a way that if you stay focused on what you're supposed to be doing, if you do your best, try to do it well and right, things have a way of kind of working out for you. So, I mean, look, I didn't know whether I was going to win the mayor's race or not, and most people didn't give me much of a chance, and I understood that because it did not appear that I had much of a chance.
Hugely.
But I had no plan B, right? So, but I think at this point, staying actively engaged with people who are in public service, the real work that gets done on the ground, a particular focus still I will maintain on issues of violence and tragedy in communities, especially regarding men and boys of color. What other mayors and local elected officials go through. So, continued work with U.S. Conference of Mayors. I'm a past president of that organization, active member of the National League of Cities. I like being actively engaged and involved on the ground, trying to make stuff happen. So, that's not a job at the moment, but trying to figure out, what I want to do.
You're focused.
Later down the line.
See,
I'm very focused.
Focused is the number one ingredient to successful Americans.
I mean,
that's what I hear from Steve.
I'm a problem solver.
Steve Jobs. I mean, yeah. Focus is key to success.
Yeah. So, strategy and how do you move the needle? How do you move the ball? So, public safety still a major issue here in the city, even with the decreases in crime, but still a problem. Public education, the number one issue, bar none. In Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, and I would suggest across the United States of America. So, I'm still relatively young. I'm in good health. These are my passions.
Yeah, we're young. We're young.
We're young. I think I still have, a voice and a reason to give to help other people, and that's really what I want to do. So,
and your greatest achievement so far is the mayor. What do you feel? I know you did great with the green. I love what you've been doing with, from an environmental standpoint. But what's your greatest? What do you feel?
I
know crime has gone down dramatically.
Yeah, I mean, saving lives. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I help people every day, and we literally have saved some lives here in Philadelphia. More kids are getting educated, but guiding the city through the worst recession since the Great Depression, took a huge team effort, a lot of skill, willpower, and really kind of stick-to-itiveness about a vision for the future. And so we did some things that really upset a lot of people because it was a shared sacrifice and a moment that we all had to come together. But today, the city has an A rating from all three bond rating agencies. Tax revenues are up and growing. There are cranes in the sky all over Philadelphia. Our unemployment rate is coming down almost to where it was pre-recession. So, we've built all kinds of buildings and all that. I'm not really much into the building monuments to yourself. It's about the people of this city. Are they doing better than they were when we arrived? Is the city a better place than it was when I had the honor of being sworn in the first time in January of 2008? And I think on those measurements, and I'm not trying to break my arm to pat myself on the back or our folks, our people work hard. The city is in a better place, and we still have more work to do. And so the next mayor, whoever that is, hopefully will take up many of those things, not because they're our ideas, but really it's because that's what the city should be doing. We should be fighting crime, and we should continue to lower, those numbers. We have to continue to invest in education, and we can build on some of the things that we've done and other mayors as well. So in my Chamber of Commerce speech last week, I talked about the city in a 30-year context. This is not about me. This is not about our administration. It always has to be focused on the city of Philadelphia. I tell people this, and most are surprised. The mayor's office is the only elected official's office in City Hall that doesn't have the person's name on the door.
Did not know that.
It's the only one. And my perspective is, and I don't know the history of this, but I take it that the reason is because it's the people's place. It's an institution, the office of the mayor. And it's your responsibility for however long you're there, 4 years, 8 years, whatever the case may be, is to maintain that institutional pride and legacy and level of responsibility that you have to the citizens. You can't always do what's popular, but you should always do what's right.
When you reach out to the very young, because you met my daughter, Raina Sophia. This is 2-3 years ago at the Badges of Honor event for the Survivors Fund, and she realizes what's going on, but she reached into her pocket and said, "Mr. Mayor, here's $1
yes.
towards the budget."
Yes, yeah.
I mean,
Let the record reflect I did not take the $1. I wanted to, but I didn't.
I took it.
Yeah.
No. So you have a far-reaching impact to the young and to the students. It really do.
People
really do.
A lot of fun with it.
I'm gonna sports. I know when you're in office, we had some great times. World Series 2008, but now we have some problems.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a little something.
We're rebuilding.
We're rebuilding. All right. Thoughts of the Sixers on the philosophy? Is that correct?
I've heard about this. I've read about this. I mean, I see what's going on. It is impossible for me to believe that there could actually be either a mindset or a strategy that revolves around, losing a certain number of games so you can get a high draft pick. I mean, it just seems, for me personally. So I don't know what's going on with the players. I've met many of the players. Are great. Michael Carter Williams, all those guys.
Right. It's not the players.
But there has to be a pride within you as a player that you want to win every game. I mean, if I was playing my mom in a game of checkers, I mean, I am trying to win, right? I mean, I love her, but so I mean, if that's a strategy or if that's what they're trying to accomplish. I mean,
it was embarrassing.
The fans have to decide.
I don't like the tank,
how long they want to deal with
tank Philadelphia. The tank. I hated the T-shirts. I just thought these are young kids.
Yeah.
The philosophy of it's okay to lose because down the road we're going to win. That's it just goes against all.
That's a new one to me. I mean, I'm old school in a couple different ways.
Me too.
And I think the talent you have is the talent you have, and I understand you have to build a team and all that. What many teams seem to do is if you don't have the talent right at hand, and the draft is the draft and always new talent coming, but you also go and get some talent.
Yeah.
From different places. You use that bank book or the cap or whatever the thing is and manage it in such a way that you get, at least one or two, kind of superstars and try to build around them, and that player may age because they all age, and then you've got to, revamp. So I don't know.
The new management that comes in, Philadelphia, probably one of the biggest, most enthusiastic basketball cities in the country.
Question. I mean, look, you're talking about the 76ers, you're talking about Will Chamberlain, you're talking about Billy Cunningham.
Dr. J and these guys come in and change the philosophy.
So I don't know. I mean,
I don't like that.
They have partnered with us, in terms of the management side, 76ers, on any number of initiatives, which we're tremendously appreciative of and all that. So, this is my relationship with our sports teams, because Philly is the greatest sports town. My basic deal with the teams is that I'll be a great fan. I'll always cheer for you no matter what's going on. I don't give them advice on how to run their operation. They don't give me advice on how to run my operation, and everybody's good.
That's good.
So,
okay. Thought?
I'm not trying to call in plays from the sideline.
Chip Kelly, Eagles.
You know, you got to give a guy credit who comes in. I think the year before the Eagles were 4-12. He comes in and they make it to the first round of the playoffs. Something to be said for that. I don't know what really happened at the tail end of the most recently completed season. The Eagles seem to be on a path. They were on a roll there. I mean, they lost a couple games, and then they
had a
turned it around.
91% chance to make the playoffs.
They were rocking, and then I think between the first Dallas game and the second Dallas game, something happened.
Yeah.
But as I say, there's always next season. I don't know what the number is at the moment, but it's got to be within 60 days. Pitchers and catchers.
That's right.
Have to be.
Well,
the season starts early April, home game.
No, well, yeah. Spring training is in February, and April's the first home game. And what about Ryan Howard and the Phillies? I mean, they've come.
Look, for me, I mean, as a lifelong Philadelphian, and I remember the
was a great
game in the World Series in the '80s. But I mean, to be in my first year, I mean, again for us, what a confluence of events, right? So I'm in my first year. We're trying to move things along. The economy is starting to go haywire. By the fall, it's clear that there's something going wrong. We've now slipped into a recession. The Phillies are in the playoffs going toward the World Series. And one of the most historic elections in our lifetime is about to take place in November. So, I mean, it's September, October, November of 2008 were just incredible. And the Phillies parade, nothing like it that I've ever experienced. About 2 million people out there.
I remember
the route, the people, the trophy, the whole thing. And and then they went back to the World Series in '09. I went up to New York. I sat with Mayor Bloomberg in the Yankee Stadium. And, it just came up a little short. Subsequent seasons, showing some promise. But that nucleus of players, I mean, unfortunately, again, in sport, and it happens at a much younger age for the players. I mean, these guys are considered more senior or more veteran at, 32, 34 years old. In any other profession, I mean, you almost haven't started yet, right?
Yeah,
but look, Ryan, great guy, great player. I know he wants to recapture, some of the greatness. Jimmy Rollins, nobody like him, and we'll miss him. He was great on the field, and even in many instances greater off the field. He and his wife and the foundation.
So great for the city.
Look, as I say, it is what it is. You play with the players that you have, and we're always hopeful for the Phillies. Flyers, again, an incredible team. I mean, Philadelphia is the only city in the United States of America that has football, baseball, basketball, hockey, all played within a quarter mile of each other. The only city in America, right? So, I mean, that in and of itself is a credit to how sport impacts the city. The Philadelphia Union, they have our name, but they're down in Chester, and we love them as well. High school, college, sports here in the region. So, I think this is the greatest sports town in America.
It is, because I'm going to go to a break in a second, but I grew up in New York, came down to Philadelphia in 1990, and the passion for Philadelphia with sports is beyond. People say, "Oh, New York." No, because if the Eagles don't win, if the whole city has a hangover on Monday, if in New York you have the Giants, the Jets,
the mood of the city is literally affected by sports. And when the Phillies, and even before they won the World Series, because they won the pennant in 7, and then obviously the World Series in 8. But all those years, and that could be 3 or 4 days in a row, with home games. So, the people are just up and they're excited. The Eagles, if they win, folks are just nicer on Monday. And when they lose, it's like
nasty.
Man.
You don't want to be on social media. I tell you what, if you threw an interception, woo! I'm telling you, man, that social media is.
Mike Smith had the great had the great quote, and I use it from time to time. Mike Smith said about Philadelphia, "You experience the thrill of victory and the agony of reading about it the next day in the newspaper."
That's perfect. We're going to take a break. And we'll be back on WTEL 610 AM, Center Stage with John Bolaris. Hey, it's John Bolaris. When it comes to the weather, you definitely need to know, and you need to know now. It needs to be accurate. It needs to target your neighborhood. Use weathersavior.com exclusively for your daily weather forecasts, snow amounts, and breaking weather news. weathersavior.com. Center Stage with John Bolaris. I'm truly excited to have Mayor Nutter here. Interesting look inside Mayor Nutter a little bit. I always love to do that because, you know, up there, I grew up with nothing, you know, in New York. I grew up in one of the worst neighborhoods in America. You know, and I had dreams and passions, you know, and they've given me maybe a 10 to million to 1 shot to do what I wanted to do. But I always had a dream. I always had focus. I didn't have a backup plan. My dad would say, you should have a backup plan in case that doesn't work. I said, I can't have a backup plan. I said, I'd rather go on living each day, not knowing what the next day will bring than settle for something.
Right.
So I had this tremendous drive and this tremendous focus. It was so focused on becoming the best meteorologist in the country, I would say. And when my dad passed, I actually buried my dad in a CBS TV T-shirt underneath his suit. 4 years to the exact day he passed away, I signed my first contract with CBS TV on October 7th, 1987. So I knew my dad was up there, you know, giving me maybe giving me some little fist pump or saying way to go, John. But I know I've known you for years, not closely, but I see what you do for the city. You were involved when I had the Badges of Honor 5K Run Survivors. You ran.
It's the only race I've ever run in.
And you right, and you lapped, and I see I see the new candidates come up. They're not going to be. They're a little bit too old. Now, you know, just saying that.
No comment.
You need to groom a little bit younger. You know, we're getting a little bit up there. I mean, they're not going to be able to do that kind of a run, and so you have this youthful energy.
I love what I do. And
I know. But if you want to say something to a child, what would you tell them? That's going in the tough neighborhood. That's you know, we're born into odds that are not good circumstances, not fair to them.
I talk to a lot of young kids, and I mean, one of the more serious messages I think I can try to convey is: do not allow your circumstances to determine the outcome of your life. That you know, things may seem bleak, not a lot going on, maybe some tough circumstances, but some others have faced, in many instances, even tougher or more difficult circumstances, and push through it. So, but that also comes with often a helping hand from someone, a second chance. It could be a family member, a neighbor, some religious person, or just, you know, someone you've gotten to know, a parent of a friend, who gives you that kind of encouragement. And I mean, what I received as a kid was true love and support by my mother, my father, my grandmother. My grandmother lived in our house, my mom's mom. And they would constantly push me, set high standards, had high expectations, didn't put up with any nonsense, no back talk. You know, treat everyone with dignity and respect, regardless of who they are. You're going to work hard, and you can be successful, and we'll support you in that way. And it is tragic, painful, and hurts my heart every day to see any number of young people in our city who may not have that same kind of support system, but we can actually do something about that. I mean, it really is about the village and helping to raise that child. And when we see some of the insane things that happen in our city, the lady at the bus stop shot in the head, the 3-year-old sitting on the steps getting her hair braided, killed. I don't believe that God makes bad people. I do believe, unfortunately, some people become bad. And often that is a part of and a function of their life circumstance and the dysfunction, the violence, and the deterioration in many instances of family structure around them. We can actually do something about that. And each and every one of us, I think, has to dedicate or rededicate ourselves to helping someone else. And when we do that, we'll have a much better city. We'll be a better nation. but you'll also get something back,
Right.
and you'll be a better person as
Right.
well.
I went to a school in Camden. This is quite a few years ago. I was doing a program, Be Cool, Stay in School, when I first started in Philadelphia. And I remember this. I went into the school, and in the auditorium, you know, in a really bad area of Camden, horrible. And I'm speaking, and I said, "Hey, y'all know Randall Cunningham?" And, you know, I'm like thinking of a reaction. I was like, there's not much reaction here. So the teacher comes over, and she goes, "You know, most of these kids, they don't have TV. It's on." And right there, that hit me. And then I got friendly with one of the kids, and I sat down with him. And I said, "What is it you want? What's your dream?" And he said, "To have a strawberry milkshake." I said, "What?" He goes, "I never had a milkshake. No, I never had a. Better get a strawberry milkshake." Now his mom, he was killed. He was drugged.
Yeah.
You know, all that goes on. And I took the kid out, and I never saw such a smile. And we had that strawberry milkshake, and a few of the kids that you reach out to now, I know they reach back out to me now.
Yeah.
And it does make a difference, because they say thank you, because I would go to school and say, give me the kid, not the A student, give me the one that needs to be in front of the camera, that needs some.
And it wasn't just the
confidence.
milkshake.
No.
It was the fact that you took the time.
Yeah.
to
So
listen.
if people would do that, you know, reaching out just a little bit,
No question.
it makes a better city, and makes for a better environment for the kids that are really struggling and don't have the not born into something that perhaps most people are born into. They have bad luck. And not in a good environment, bad circumstances, not with the family support. So I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for being on. I mean, it was great. I loved it. You know, you're the best. You know,
well, John, thank you. I mean, this is your debut show, and you know, I mean, I'm really only here because I didn't want to get fined.
What? Fined?
Thank you, man.
Well, you know, thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right.
Absolutely.
Have a good day. You know, what's going on? We got any sports this weekend coming up? What we got going on Saturday, Sunday? I don't know. The Sixers. They got the hockey, little Flyers action.
Yeah.
And of course,
catchers very soon.
And of course, we're going to be watching for a little snow Monday. I'll keep you watch weathersavior.com.
I'm going to check you out.
Check it out. I'll let you know what's going on.
Absolutely.
Keep the city in the loop. All right. Thank you very much. Let's go to a break. All right.